Hey, welcome back to Kotlin Conversations, where we're having conversations with just a few of the wonderful speakers here at KotlinConf 2025. I'm Huintuet Dao, and I'm speaking with
Enrique Lopez Manas.
Enrique. So I'm so happy to speak with you, Enrique. I feel like I've been friends with you for so long, and I finally get you on Kotlin Conversations. But Enrique, for people that don't know you, who are you and what do you do?
Mm-hmm. Well, I have been mostly contributing to the Android space and the Kotlin space. I've been a Google developer expert for a number of years. Then I engaged at Google for a freelance gig. I went out from the program and I've been writing books, writing open source code for Android and Kotlin more specifically. I guess that's where we also met, right? In the Android and
absolutely.
Kotlin.
And you do a lot of other things too, like you run a newsletter for Kotlin as well. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course. I'm running the Kotlin Weekly newsletter. If you haven't subscribed, you should subscribe. It's a newsletter similar to Android Weekly. I send content every Sunday, summarizing most of the news and things that are happening in the Kotlin world. And it's AI free. I'm not still maybe you use AI to correct sentences or everything, but not like generating AI content. So it's like handpicked. I read every article, I filter every article, and I make sure that is human created and the filter is done by a real person.
No, Enrique for a very long time has been like kind of presenting some of the best in the Kotlin community and promoting it. So thank you very much for that. And also you should definitely subscribe. I'm subscribed, you should subscribe. But you're also a speaker and you're speaking this year at KotlinConf. Can you tell us a little bit about, I guess, what your talk's about?
So my talk is going to be about a different topic that I haven't been doing professionally for that much, and it's Kotlin data visualization with Kotlin for finance. Finance is the domain, but I think the technical part is the data visualization itself.
Yeah, how did you get? I mean, as you said, you're saying that relatively new for you data visualization. How did you get into that? Was this through like professionally or just like personal interest or?
Well, I think it's a topic that is niche enough for folks to not get getting very specialized as in, hey, I'm a data visualization engineer. It's something that maybe you do as a side effect of you working on, I don't know, like finance analysis or data science. And for me specifically, I'm very much into finance. I wrote a few articles on investing, my investing philosophy, my finance theory, and basically I manage my small fund, my small portfolio where I buy companies and decide what to do with the dividend that they pay and stuff. And I've been historically doing this on Excel, which by the way is fantastic. You can use in Excel, connect with external APIs, you have Google Finance, you have a lot of things that you really can do. But I guess as a Kotlin nerd, at some point I started moving away from Excel and checking that, what can I do with Kotlin? I had at some point my small app that I was doing to visualize data using another chart graph. I have my own backend where I was getting data, which is another problem for data visualization, acquiring the data. I was getting it from Yahoo Finance. And then at some point, JetBrains started releasing a couple of frameworks. One of them was DataFrame for data management, and another one was Kandy for data visualization. And I guess as a good nerd, I started implementing by myself notebooks and experimenting with the charts and seeing what it was possible. When you're doing financial analysis, you have obviously the standard charts where you see the evolution of your portfolio, if it's going up or down. But then you have cases that are a little bit more, at least for me, I use quite a bit the Geraldine buys bands, which is, so every time you have a stock and they pay a dividend and the dividend increases, you have a band that defines the upper historical range and the down historical range, the bottom one, and the current value. So you can see, then there is like this line which represents the current value of the stock, and you can see if the stock is undervalued or overvalued. Of course, there are tools that can do this for you, but I was also thinking, is it possible to do this with Kotlin and stuff? So I guess one thing led to the other, and then I ended up having a pretty decent system where I visualize my stocks and the stocks that I'm interested in and the evolution and whether I should buy or not.
I mean, I think you said it correctly. It's like you're a good nerd. I think that's a thing that engineers like to do, is that even if a problem has a current solution, we like to blend things that we work on or that we're interested in and see what new combinations we can come up with. So I think that's perfect and wonderful. it seems like, and I think data visualization for finance. So actually, as a personal story, like I actually used to work for the Nasdaq stock market, and I actually worked on data visualizations, and I think it's such an interesting space just because the power of data visualizations. And I mean, you just tried to explain to me something which, in words might be a little bit difficult for me to understand, but usually a lot of times with data visualizations, there's like almost like a much more it's a much more accessible way to kind of maybe interpret and see patterns in these data that maybe takes a little bit of like study and learnedness to get to. So I've always found that like really fascinating. Is it like, I guess, what was the biggest challenges for you kind of from moving from Excel, which is obviously, as you said, a kind of proven, very well integrated with everything tool, to writing your own thing? Like what were your biggest challenges?
Well, one of them, and I think it's still the biggest one, is the data acquisition. When you're trying to do data visualization for stocks specifically or for finance, you need to download information like the historical value of a stock, the dividends that have been paid. That's maybe, specifically those two might be easy. You have the Nasdaq API, you used to have Yahoo, there is also Quandl. But sometimes you want to get things like the free cash flow or the the relationship between the return of investment, the return over for shareholders, etc. And that's information that is not always publicly available, or at least for free. You always have APIs that you can pay professionally and you get this information. But that's getting the right information, and because sometimes you can download it but it's outdated or it's not correct. That's also one of the reasons why if you try to find financial information for a company, and there are like a ton of websites that give you information, but it might be outdated or not right. So ultimately the right one is the one that the companies are providing on their investor website.
Yeah.
But that requires a lot of manual work also, because what are you going to be doing? Am I going to the, Coca-Cola investor relationship site and downloading the the progression of the free cash flow for the last 20 years? That's can get complex at sometimes. And there is no standardized format. As of course, some companies might offer the information in JSON or CSV, but sometimes they don't. So, you need to see the website, you need to start scrapping it. Sometimes you need to reload or go to, like click on next. And that's can be sometimes, very manual and very tedious, and require a lot of, it is, especially if you have, I think I have in my small portfolio like 60 or 70 companies. Some of them are large, some of them are smaller, and it's sometimes like one by one, like doing something different to keep everything up to date.
It just feels like we're never going to get away from the issues of data format and like data freshness and having to integrate everything. So is there something that, or I guess, what did you discover? What was your favorite thing or a surprise? Like, is there something that in your workflow, in your kind of Kotlin workflow, that you found worked better than your Excel one? Like, or is there just something about doing it yourself that, I don't know, you learned something either about Kotlin or about finance, or a little bit of both?
Well, I think Excel is a fantastic tool. It provides out of the box a lot of solutions. Specifically for finance, you have the Google Finance API, where you can insert the ticker of a company and you get automatically things like price and the low value of the last 52 weeks and stuff. But I really like Kotlin for, I guess as a Kotlin Android developer, helps you a lot to integrate with a previous Kotlin ecosystem. If you're having, a backend where it's already written with Cater, it's very easy to start integrating from, classes that you're using and etc. But even without this, basically, I think you could use, there are two big frameworks for data analysis and visualization in Kotlin. One of them is DataFrame, which is similar to Pandas in Python or DataFrame in R, which is another language that I have been exploring also for this purpose. It's basically a framework to manage and transform and clean and convert data. So you can think of it as sort of a table. So at the end, a data frame is a table representation where you have like columns, and in each of those columns, you're going to have values. So specifically talking about the stocks, for example, you could have a table that contains the ticker, the value of this stock for a given period of time. It's hierarchical, so a data frame can contain data frames as sub-values. Given that, like you would have in an SQL table, you might have like a person in one of the rows, and then one of those rows can be another data frame that is, for example, making a reference to kids of that person. So it's very, very flexible to do everything. When it comes to data representation, there are actually a few stages that you need to do. One of them is getting the data, which we have said is difficult. Then we have another one, which is preparing and tidying up the data, because sometimes you might have a column that contains different data types or contains like null values or whatever. It is probably not going to be clean. And with DataFrame, you really can do a lot of operations for filtering or creating new columns, everything on the fly. So it's really flexible, really nice. I think with Excel, you're a little bit limited. The use case doesn't allow you to go the extra mile. And then Kandy is there are a few other frameworks for charts and data visualization, but Kandy, I think, is the one that JetBrains has been pushing a little bit more. Mm-hmm. It's based on another library, I think, less Plotly, that I think is currently not maintained. I think it has a few limitations. For example, there is no series support. That's apparently a limitation of the previous engine. But I think it's fantastic by the amount of options that provides you. So you have all the standard charts. You have things like heat maps. You have histograms. You even have geographical maps where you can, draw all the states in the United States or all the Bundesland in Germany, and you can start drawing them. So it's super easy to come up with random data studies like, give me all the Bundesland in Germany that are, I don't know, are voting like this political party or the other one, or are, you can filter by GDP per capita or those things. It's really, really easy. And it's written in Kotlin, so it's very idiomatic, integrates very well with we know how the APIs are in Kotlin, and if you have a previous ecosystem, I'm really liking it. One thing is that it doesn't have support for Compose natively, but while I was preparing this talk, I saw Andrew Keystone, I think he's a developer relationship at JetBrains, made a sample where he's somehow generating the diagrams and importing them in Android. I need to take a look at it because I'm not really sure how he's doing it.
So, but it sounds like super powerful, like especially if you're interested in data visualization, even if you're, say, like not necessarily a matter expert, it sounds like you can really just jump in and do a lot with this tool, with this framework. It sounds like actually pretty fun, especially like, as you said, like I like just being able to, like the wide berth of things that you can do, but then as you said, leveraging things that you might already have, like say like backend services and things like that, and all that expertise. I mean, I know a little bit of Kotlin, a little bit, so I'd be interested. So yeah. So your talk's going to be about kind of like this, your experience kind of building out your like kind of like financial data analysis. So yeah, definitely check that out. Especially if you're specifically if you are interested in financial data as Enrique is, but also if you just, I guess like the rest of us like to kind of tool around on your hobbies using, what you're working on, specifically Kotlin. Yeah, definitely check it out. I always find inspired by that because I feel like, especially as really passionate engineers and passionate Kotlin people, we want to like put it everywhere. So it sounds like you had a wonderful time putting that into your financial data analysis.
Yeah, and I hope I can bring some, what I try at least at my talks is to bring a personal perspective, not just, reading the manual because everybody can go and read on their own, but coming up with, okay, this is what I learned, this is what I'm doing. And if, folks can learn at least one new thing from my session, that would be amazing.
I love it. If people want to find you on the internet, Enrique, how can they do that?
Well, I don't have an X Twitter account anymore, but if you search for my name, Enrique Lopez Manas, you'll find me on Blue Sky, on Mastodon. I have a Kotlin.social Mastodon instance that I'm running. You can also join if you want. I think those are the networks where I'm more active. Or, well, Strava, I guess, running.
Enrique is a very accomplished runner. Several marathons?
Sometimes. A couple of them.
Well, Enrique, I'm so happy to finally get you chatting with me on Kotlin Conversations. Thank you so much for taking the time out to join me. And thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Thank you very much, William.